we tell you new news you didn't need to know, but you're knowing it now.
I'm Polly Lockett.
And I'm Penny Traición.
As you may have known, our last episode ended with the world ending, but I guess that didn't happen. Anyways, today's show is going to focus on biology TAKS prep. And so we have arranged a couple of things. We're going to see a professor, and one of our audience members sent in a video about biology. Some basic things you need to know about symbiotic relationships are mutualism. Mutualism is when both animals are benefited. Predation is when one organism is eaten by another. Parasitism is when one organism is feeding on another organism and it is harming that organism. Competition is an organism competing for the same food source. And lastly, commensalism, is one organism benefits without affecting the other organism. Penny?
Oh, now we're talking about evolution, which is a conspiracy, by the way. Don't believe the government. Now, evolution is the process of developing within an ecosystem to survive. How when I get tired of wearing my heels, I survive by changing into flats. Evolution. Now, what structures are common in the fossil records that we've found that suggest that organisms come from a common ancestor? Y'all need to shorten these questions. I'm just saying. Well, anyways, although rare, sometimes smart scientists find fossilized skeletons, which we can compare to the skeletons of today. Like back then, dinosaurs were bigger than me now. So you can compare the two, and we're not the same. Also, what role does DNA play? Now, DNA holds all the genetic code for the development of an organism. Mutations in the genetic code, like unibrows, cause traits in the organism to change. So, a change in the environment allows the organism with beneficial mutations, like blue eyes, which I don't have, to live on and pass on their genes to later generations, while organisms with harmful mutations die off. Fortunately, they didn't think unibrows were a harmful gene. Oh man, I gotta go to wax. Anyways, over time, the organisms will have adapted to their environment. And this is all the process of natural selection, which DNA, blah, blah, blah. Now, does the genetic structure of an individual change or the population over time? This actually, the answer is that the population changes over time. You won't see a mutation just happen in one person. You'll have to see it over generations. So that's why the population has to change. And finally, what are the structures that used to serve a purpose called? That used to serve a purpose. Kind of like, I don't know, Ethernet or dial-up that used to serve a purpose. Now we just got Wi-Fi, so I mean, thank goodness for that. And those are called vestigial structures, such as an appendix. You know, you could be like, you don't need an appendix, just saying. That's all I got.
Wow, who would have thought Penny was capable of all that?
Oh, our intern did that. I did that.
Yeah. And now we're going to show you one of the videos that one of our fans sent in. So, to that video, please.
Hi, Penny and Polly News Show. I am your #1 fan. And in biology, I was learning about animal cells and bacterial cells. And I learned that the mitochondria in an animal cell produces ATP. The nucleus contains the genetic material. The cell membrane protects the inner part of the cell, and lysosomes digest things inside the cell. I also learned that plant cells are different to animal cells because plant cells have a chloroplast. Well, for the bacterial cell, I learned that the flagellum helps move the cell, and the cell membrane protects the bacteria. The cytoplasm is the energy storage and manufacturing source, and the chromosomes describes information of the proteins for the organism. Okay, and also I learned the similarities and differences in viruses and bacteria. Well, bacteria can be treated using antibiotics, but viruses cannot be treated using prescriptions. An example of a way to prevent someone from being infected by a virus is to inject the dead form of that virus in the body so the person's immune system will adjust to the virus. Thanks, Fanny and Polly, for including me in your news show.
Wow, what an awesome video. Well, now we're going to send it over to our correspondent, Perry Winkle.
Hello everyone, my name is Perry Winkle from the Polly and Penny Show. How are you? I'm here with Professor Linneman from Lee College. Hello, Professor Linneman. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. So sweet, so sweet. To start
Absolutely.
off,
All right.
what is natural selection?
Well, all right. Short and sweet, right?
Short and sweet.
Okay. In the wild, there's competition for things that you have to survive, and those that can compete better than others are going to get more of those survival type things. And when they do that, they can outcompete other members of their same group, and they will be able to procreate, thus passing on their genes, so that the next group will have the same type of advantage that they have.
Great. Now you mentioned competition.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that the most intelligent species survive, or does it have to do anything with intelligence at all?
That's a really good question, because it can do with intelligence, but that's not the only deciding factor.
Great. Now, could you give us an example of a certain species that has done this so far?
Well, all organisms that we see on the planet today have been selected upon by natural selection, because those that we see today are survivors, as opposed to those that are in the fossil record, who for some reason did not survive. So we have organisms that would have naturally died off of old age, but we also have large groups of organisms, aka the dinosaurs, who are not here today.
Great, thank you. Now I have to take a turn for natural selection for a minute and ask you a question. What is photosynthesis, and how does it relate to cellular respiration?
All right, well, here, I've got this little picture for you that I wanted to show you that shows how the two connect together. Photosynthesis, we have the sun acting upon plants, and this represents the chloroplast inside the plant. And the really cool thing is that we take two inorganic molecules, meaning they don't have energy in and of themselves, a little water and a little carbon dioxide, and with the right structure in the organism, like the chloroplast, the sun will then allow that to make products. Those products, which will have energy in them because we'll manipulate the atoms and move them around, we'll get a carbon-based product that you and I know is sugar. More specifically, it's glucose, C6H12O6, remember? Okay. Now, those products are then go into the next step, which is cellular respiration, and that's organisms like you and me, where we have a mitochondria. So do plants. They can make their own food, we cannot. So we ingest this food because we eat for two reasons: energy, and we eat for raw materials.
Raw materials.
So we have to have the things inside us. So this is primarily focusing on the energy aspect, but we take that energy molecule and in a series of chemical reactions, we break that down,
ATP.
and we release, there you go, ATP. See, you did learn something. And so we release some energy, we lose some of that to heat, but then we also have some products that come out of here, and that's what do you exhale? Every time you exhale and take a breath out, what do you release?
Carbon dioxide.
That's right, CO2, which was originally what we put in. Here it comes out. You also lose some water, but there's also water in the environment. And so that process is released, which then in turn becomes the things we need to do this. So these are known as coupled reactions because the products of one become the reactants of the other and vice versa. So they have to have each other to complete this cycle and to make it work. So they're intimately connected, and they have to be there for each other to use.
That's really cool. Okay, well, breaking off from cells, we also have another question, our last and final question.
All right.
What is the DNA replication process, and what role does tRNA and mRNA play in it?
Well, all right, that's a little bit of a complex question, and actually it's two different parts. What we have is DNA replication is this process right here, where we have the double helix DNA molecule that has all of our genetic code, which is just fascinating. And replication is when we make a copy. Each strand makes a copy of itself using complementary base pairs and some chemical steps. Replication does not directly involve tRNA nor mRNA, because replication is what you have to do before mitosis or meiosis. tRNA and mRNA do involve DNA, but they involve it in a different way. And here's tRNA molecule, which means a transfer, and it's transferring amino acids. mRNA is the message that tells the transfer RNA which amino acid to bring in. And when we do this process, we're not making more DNA, we're making protein.
Hello, this is Perry Winker from the Polly and Penny Show. How are you doing? Is you good? Good, because I want to know. Okay, so I am here with Katie.
Cassie.
Whatever. What are the 5 animal kingdoms? And can you give me an example of each things?
Like the fungi kingdom, which is like the mushrooms and fungus and yeast.
Yeah.
And then like the animalia, which is like us, sponges, worms, gross stuff. And then the protista, which is like protozoans. And then the plantae, which is like flowers outside. And then the ebacteria, which is like bacteria.
Oh my god. Okay. What are the body systems?
We have the lymphatic,
Learn how to pronunciate.
digestive, reproduction,
I don't get paid enough for this.
endocrine, immune,
Are you almost done?
circulatory, urinary,
Oh, that's gross. Could you hurry up?
nervous, respiratory, yeah, that's a long, skeletal, and muscular. And we're missing one, but that's just your skin. It's integumentary. That's it.
Are we done?
No.
I'm out. I am Perry, followed by Winkle, and I am frankly tired of this job. I don't know what to say, but I have no other place to stay. I don't know where to go, but, you know, I guess we're just gonna have to make the best of it, so let's go. There are biomes, 5 of there are. Let's start off with desert. A desert's dry and arid. I mean, why would you go and stay? You'd probably die and fade. There also are temperate forests where the leaves just won't stop falling. I mean, I don't know why, but are these trees defective? They're just so colorful and gay. Now there's grasslands and more grasslands. That's all there really is. Now there are tigers and what is even a taiga? And now there are tundras. Yes, I know, tundras. But have any one of you ever been to a tundra before? I know I haven't. Finally, there's tropical rainforests. And y'all really need to stop cutting down those trees. But they're really useful, especially for free showers. What is there more to say?
What is all this noise here? What's going on? Hey, it's Penny. How you doing?
Gee, thanks. Well, I'm just here talking about plants and their adaptations and all these different biomes.
Plant? Did you say plants? Wait. I feel something. I think I got a rap for this. Doom, 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 doom. Roots are used for storage, just like I do to my rose porch. Wax cuticles, gotta go get my beautifuls. Looking for a good time, go get seeds there for reproduction. But don't ask me now. Before I take my leave, let me tell you a little something about things that grow on trees that spark. I use it on my weave. I stay looking fresh, but don't come at me. I got them thorns that can get into your flesh. Peace.
That concludes our show for today. I'm Polly Lockett. Have a fabulous afternoon.
Cut!